Hey guys, happy Friday. I like Ratatouille. Don't ask me how to spell it, but I know I like it. Now, some people might be thinking, oh, the rat with the little chef's hat. Like, yes, I like that Ratatouille, but I also like the actual dish as well, Ratatouille, and to the point that I've actually made it. I got bad memory. I made it once, possibly twice, but I'm pretty sure it's just once. But maybe I made 2 servings of it. I can't remember, but it was pretty good. And quite frankly, it's one of those things that, it looks more difficult than what it actually is. And if you like cooking as much as I like cooking, it works out a lot. It's one of those things that where you find that certain aspects of the talents that you have can translate over to do like amazing things. Like somebody might look at something and say like, oh man, there's like 5 like pseudo complicated things that you need to know in order to make this thing work. And when you realize that you already know all 5 of those things, suddenly it becomes like, oh, I can make this actually. Like the idea of like anything in cooking honestly comes down to like a combination of preparation plus execution, and you'll find that it's not actually as difficult as it seems. Like, let me put it this way, like they put it in that movie and it was the whole premise of like, oh, anybody can cook, implying that it's something like extraordinarily difficult. And the reality is it actually wasn't all that difficult. It's mostly just putting food together and like just tossing it into an oven. Let me go down the process actually real quick for you guys, so you know exactly what I'm trying to say when I say these things. It's mostly just kind of you get the food prepared, right? So I think going like freeballing off the top of my head, it's like 5 ingredients mostly. So you need tomatoes, eggplant, squash, zucchini, and actually I believe that's all of it. So the gist of what you're looking for is just kind of like the worst part. Let me tell you about the time I made Ratatouille and how bad it became. So I was doing these things. I got the ingredients all together, and like the tool that makes it, like super simple is an item called a mandolin. If you've never heard of a mandolin, it's not an instrument, or maybe it is an instrument, but in this case, what we're talking about the kitchen tool. Basically, it's a slab with like a slit cut in it and a sharp blade. And when I say sharp, I mean if you have it right, it is a sharp blade. If you're following what I'm saying, yeah. So I was putting it together, and basically what ended up happening was I got a little zealous, and I'm not trying to make it sound more graphic than what it really was, but if I was a little bit more enthusiastic, I probably could have lost a finger in the process. But no, instead I ended up just kind of slitting pretty bad. It was a clean cut, super sharp blade. It wasn't too great, but we just call that marinara, I guess. But basically, a lot of the prep is just just cutting produce. My number one suggestion, though, if you're going to make it at home, is all inappropriate comments aside, find a smaller eggplant. Like the ones they sell at Walmart and whatnot, these things, they're really bottom heavy. And the best way to get a good presentation of your ratatouille is to have a nice uniform size, and the zucchini and the squash and the tomatoes aren't too difficult to get all in a uniform size, but the eggplant easily is like, it creates coins that are like 1.5 to 2 times bigger than everything else, and it makes your presentation look really floppy, is the best way to put it. It's floppy and sloppy. It's just, it's not great. But the cool thing that you get to do, though, other than like slicing these things, is you get to make like your own sauce, which is basically just like, it's like garlic, onions, tomatoes, and then your typical Italian seasonings that you would use. Let's see what our frog's up to today. And then you just kind of like stew it, boil it down to it's something really saucy. You get to decide whether or not you want something that's, you know, more a thicker consistency or something a little bit thinner. But you just get to make that, and then once you have that made, you basically just, you put it in a pot, like not a pot, like a baking pan or something like that. I forget what the word is, but you just basically you put it in a casserole dish. That's the term. You put it in a casserole dish, and then you basically start laying down the coins in a pattern: tomato, zucchini, squash, eggplant, and then repeat on tomato. And you basically just do that. You can try to make it fancy, like you see in the movie or something like that, where like, oh, you put it like this big fancy spiral type thing, or you can just do it in rows and columns, or you literally just kind of like pile it all in there and just say it is what it is. But all in all, it's pretty much like, it's super simple. And once you get that all together, you just basically, you can put more sauce on top if you want to, but I don't think you're supposed to. And then you just bake it until it's done. And mind you, I've never eaten eggplant before I had Ratatouille, and you know, probably not the best cook to be making something for the first time for me to try, but I'd say it didn't come out half bad. It was actually really, really good. And again, the worst part was probably the eggplant itself. Kind of had this, I don't know how to describe it. It had just like this weird consistency to it, and I think that just kind of comes with the idea that the coins are just way too big in proportion to the rest of everything that was there. But other than that, it was a really fun experience, and I can't remember if I did. If I didn't, I should have. But I think I had Ratatouille, the movie, like playing in the background. And, you know, every time I got discouraged, you know, like when I'm trying to remove half my finger, just hearing like, anybody could cook. It's like, oh, okay, that's good. It's nice to know that I will still be able to cook, even if I only have 9 fingers. Like, great motivational speech right there. That was perfect. And secrets into the sauce. Yeah, I get that. But it actually came out pretty good. In addition to that, I wasn't done with the eggplants necessarily, and I ended up making an eggplant parmesan as well. And it actually turned out to be a pretty interesting event, all in all, with everything that was going on with it. So it was a really fun experience to try to make Ratatouille for the first time. But going back to the original statement, though, like also the movie, like really love that movie too. Like I can't put my finger on it. I mean, I still have my finger, so I can technically put my finger on it, but like in terms of describing what actually like makes that movie like so good for me, I can't really say it too much. I think it's probably just a combination of Remy's not necessarily like the weirdest looking Disney character of all time, and I just kind of like the whole premise, because like cooking is like one of my like passions. Like old kids say, like low key. I don't even say it's low key. It's like high key. Is high key a word? I don't know. Showing my middle-aged dad vibe right there. But I love cooking as much as I love marine biology and Animal Crossing and like everything else in between. Like let me tell you, like, if I won like $1 million, high on my list would be, oh, I gotta go get like whatever house I would buy with that kind of money would have to be like a house that has like that perfect kitchen in it that I can make all of these like high caliber like foods in there. Like, or more importantly, I will spend a good portion of money. Like, you tell me how much I got to spend to find skinny eggplants so that I can actually properly layer this poor ratatouille. If not, then I'm just gonna have to like basically cut it down into a reasonable shape and then cut coins out of that one instead, because like I can't, like, they're just too dang big. Like, they're ridiculous. Like, I don't know who decided bell-shaped produce was the way to go, but they clearly never made Ratatouille. It's either that or I need to get bigger tomatoes, zucchini, and squash, which, you know, I think they do make squash big enough. It's, well, specifically has to be like yellow squash, but I guess maybe you could... That's where I'm at. Like, I got the techniques down, but I don't necessarily have the flavors down. So if you're like asking me like the difference in flavor between like a yellow squash and I don't know what other color squash come in. I guess maybe a red, not red, orange. I'm sure squashes come in orange, right? Or is that just a pumpkin at that point? I don't know. But like, if you ask me what the flavor difference is between them, I'm gonna have to, like, you know, regretfully tell you, like, I don't know. I don't know what the difference in them is. I would assume that you could substitute them, but, you know, sometimes that's the mistakes you make. Like, if you ask me the difference in between the flavors of stuff like, I don't know, basil, oregano, and thyme or something like that, I'm just gonna look at you and just be like, I don't know what's the difference. They're all in shakers, so I'm assuming they're all interchangeable, and then there's probably some Italian who's crying right now who's just like, how can he say that they're all interchangeable? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't really know the difference. I mean, it's probably my own fault because I rarely let them roll on their own. It's kind of a, all right, cool, we got all three of them, we'll just toss them into the container together and, you know, call it a day. But going back, what was I talking about? Squash. I wouldn't know if there's an interchangeable squash that you could use that would be larger and more eggplant appropriate to put into your ratatouille. Like, maybe. But then you have to find like giant tomatoes. I guess you could do that. They make some of those like really big like tomatoes, and you just kind of cut them down the side. That could be all right. And then I guess the last one would be zucchini. I wouldn't know if there's like a larger version of zucchinis that could be used as well, but possibly. I know it's getting a whole bunch of like, I don't know, I don't really know. It is trying to get the rest of my produce up to my what's it called? My eggplants level, rather than just, you know, being satisfied that maybe they should just make a eggplant that's smaller, which I'm sure they probably have them out there. That'd be like on my list of things as well. Just be like, all right, cool, we just gotta get, like, if they don't sell them somewhere, like, I'm sure like Home Goods, or not Home Goods, what's that place called? Trader Joe's type place, like those places that have like all the organic stuff. Maybe they have like thinner eggplant that can be used to make a proper ratatouille. But if not, I could always just kind of like look into what is going to take to grow, because like I wouldn't mind gardening, you know, like grow my own eggplant, like specifically just like skinny eggplant. Who knows, maybe I might be the first person to ever grow or make like a skinny eggplant, and then, you know, just like start selling them. It's like, oh yeah, they're like Ratatouille approved, like the perfect skinny eggplants, because, you know, I don't know, just like, you know, it's one of those weird things. It happens a lot of times, right? Where people just kind of like, somebody makes something that's just slightly different than everything else, but it turns out to be like the perfect thing that we were missing. But I don't know. what I do know is I do like Ratatouille. It's delicious, the movie's great, and it's just a really fun experience all the way around, whether you're watching it or making it. And yeah, I like Ratatouille. But you know what else I like? The fact that we got to spend this time together today. You guys are amazing as always. I hope you had a great week. I hope you have an even greater weekend. If you liked spending this time as well, feel free to press the button, subscribe so you can catch the next hangout. And then drop by the comments section and let me know how much you like or dislike Ratatouille, either the movie or the dish. And I'll be sure to read each and every one of those. But until next time, you guys take care of yourself. God bless, and I'll see you very, very soon.